All right, everyone, welcome to today's show. I'm really happy to have this lady back with us. Her name's Rebecca Barron. We did a show a few months ago now. It was called Defeating the Satanic Royal Family. Incredible story. It's one of the most viewed ones that I've done this year. And yeah, Rebecca, thanks. Yeah, cheers for coming back on again.
I didn't realize it was so viewed.
It was, yeah.
Mm.
No, people love that, and it's so in keeping with my channel and what I've been researching. And it started off with a detective. He started talking to me about the child trafficking, and then when I went down that rabbit hole, it led to entity attachment and possession and reptilians, archons, aliens, UFOs, stuff like that. And then, of course, when you were around, it was the perfect episode for where I'm at. So yeah,
Oh, great. I
and
arrived at the right time.
yeah. So I'm kind of doing a lot of episodes on this now. Like ETs, UFOs, hybrids, like the elites being kind of hybridized reptilian humanoids, whatever you want to call them, and their influence on humanity.
Hmm.
And yeah, just before we get into that, maybe we can talk about that. I just want to say, Rebecca has a book called One Set of Footprints. I don't know if you've got it to hand. Maybe you could hold it up.
I have actually, yeah. One set of footprints. This is it.
There we
Yeah,
go.
you can get it on my website. Yeah, so it just tells. Um, I've shared my experiences, and how I got out of it, and the realization of it, waking up and realizing, because I didn't know any of what happened to me as a child, and not until later.
Mm.
So yeah, and then I do healing. I do remote viewing, and I help people come out of programming now. So it's it's so I do that, and obviously I've got the YouTube channel,
Yeah,
and
fantastic.
just share as much as I can and
Yeah.
help people. Yeah, because I'm learning too. So
Actually, I was just
and
thinking,
everything I learn.
would it be okay actually to just summarize the kind of episode that we did in a way? I know it's obviously a huge, if people want to watch that, they can go back to that video, but I don't want to put words in your mouth.
Of
I'd rather
course,
you said
yeah,
it just for like 30 seconds or 1 minute, but it's basically how childhood, there was like an MK Ultra trauma based
yeah.
on it, wasn't there?
Yeah, so I entered into a trauma-based mind programming, and within that, I came in contact with the royal family, Jimmy Savile, they were kind of like in charge of it, and I had no. It was the trauma so bad it kind of gets you don't remember. I didn't remember until I was later on, and the only reason it came up was because I was getting attacked by loads of technology entities, and they were attacking all the areas that I was programmed in my mind. So I had to basically heal myself, because in order to stop the attacks, I had to heal the places where they had hurt me, because they'd only attack the traumas. So as I was healing the traumas, I got to learn how these hybrids worked and their energies and everything like that. So a lot of my knowledge has come from, unfortunately, first-hand experience.
Yeah,
Yeah.
brilliant. By the way, you've frozen on my screen for some reason. I don't know why
Oh
that is. It might pop back in a sec. There we go.
yeah, it might be. There we go.
There
I'll
we, if you
just
do that, that
pop
might
out.
reset it, the old off and on.
Yeah, best.
I can just see your profile picture there.
Yeah, it's not. It's oh,
The
detect
gremlins have
this.
got us already.
Yeah,
They're onto it. I don't
I
believe
know.
it.
And the host has asked you to start the video. Start my video. There we go.
Oh, there we go. That's better. That's
Yay.
reset it.
Okay.
I wonder
Good.
if they do that. One of my guests said they like to kind of like have a laugh and mess with your technology sometimes. I don't know if you if that's anything you've noticed.
Well, and that Zoom's been playing up, but
Yeah.
a lot we are electrical beings, and if there is stuff going on in your mind, if there's nerves or
Mm.
stuff like that, it does screw up the electrics.
Oh, right.
Um, so sometimes, like when people come and they get really paranoid,
Mhm.
they're really paranoid and they think someone's doing it to them, and it's actually their own energies that is
Right.
causing the interference. Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's
So,
interesting.
yeah.
Because I was talking to someone about poltergeists, and they said it's the same thing. Is that it's actually an externalization of your own anxiety, and you get it with a lot of children going through puberty, adolescence, where that kind of psychic sexual energy builds up, and it's an externalization of that in the room. That's what the guy was saying. So yeah.
Um, that might be, but there is also with poltergeist, there is energy that comes from another dimension in, but they will attach to the energy of whoever they. So there's got to be something within that person, some sort of trauma frequency that resonates with that frequency, and then you just get ghosts. Yeah, but it's
Yeah.
yeah, weird and wonderful stuff.
Yeah, we do all
Yeah.
this stuff, which I love. I can't get enough of it at the moment.
How do you
But
sleep, John?
how do I sleep? I know. No, to be honest with you, I get a real kick out of it. I just did an episode on Bigfoot and Sasquatch and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I've channeled well, not channeled, but with the remote view. So I do a remote view every couple of
Mm,
weeks on my Patreon
right.
channel, and I love it. And someone a few years ago mentioned Bigfoot,
Yeah.
and I just laughed. But then I remote viewed and my laugh went away
Oh, go
because
on.
I
What did you
the
see?
Connollys, there's different Connollys around the world.
Yeah.
They live underground, very, very gentle.
Mm,
They're not violent. They're very psychic. They um they they've been at war with the humans. They've been killed, and some humans have been killed by them because they've
mm,
been attacked. They're very attached to Mother Earth. They actually say, he said to me, this Bigfoot, he said, we're more attached to Mother Earth than you. Your DNA's been messed with. Our DNA hasn't been messed with. So, and so they have families. They have children and everything. And so yeah, I've gone back a few times over the years because people ask me, and yeah,
yeah.
but fascinating. Yeah, really
That's lovely.
fascinating.
Yeah, because the episode that I did, he was saying that people have seen them appear and disappear, and he says that they could actually be walking through portals from a slightly different dimension, or what else did he say? Yeah, or they're able to materialize and dematerialize. But he said they could come from a different timeline or a different dimension. He says that's why there's a lot of sightings of them suddenly vanishing. Did you get that kind of vision?
The I'll have to go back, but it
Right.
was like they were able to um chameleonize with the surroundings, so they don't disappear, but they completely chameleon. They go into,
Yeah.
so they could be on a tree and they'll go into the tree and you won't see.
Oh, right.
But it was like they were under inside Earth. Yeah, but
Oh,
he was very specific. They are native Earth. They're not from anywhere
right.
else.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
us. It's us that's got the issues. It's us that's got the problems. Yeah. We've been. We've
Well,
been.
we're from Earth too. We're just being messed a little bit, but our
Yeah.
consciousness is, yeah,
That's
it's
interesting.
yeah.
I also we talked about other entities like the Mothman and skinwalkers. I don't know if you've heard of these
Ah,
as well.
yeah, yeah. My son was asking me last week about skinwalkers. Um, I haven't looked at the Mothman. I
Mm,
have seen the movie though. But skinwalkers, what I discovered, they're not from this universe. They're not from they've come in and they kind of got trapped. What I read is they got trapped. They're very frightened. They don't like attacking humans, but they seem to attack if it's one person, they wouldn't attack a group. They're based in a lot of fear. They're
oh, right.
fear based. And they kind of, yeah, I just
Mm.
I don't really know a lot about them, to be honest. I just did a short journey for my son because he was asking
Who's
about.
interested in, yeah, because it's all fascinating stuff, isn't it? Do you know what? I watched one of your video, the video you sent me lately, and I just thought that would be a nice thing to talk about because it was about the reptilians, which you spoke about in length on the last show.
Yeah,
But I mean, I'm still learning about all this, Rebecca. I'm no expert like you, but is it the case that there's different alien species that are actually vying for competition over this earthly realm, Gaia, Earth, whatever you want to call it. And has it been the case that the ones that have been in charge for the last few centuries have been these reptilians, or are they Anunnaki? Are they Dracos, or is that all the same thing? And is it the case? I think you were mentioning something along the lines of there's a changing of the guard, or Earth is sort of expunging them. Is it something
yeah,
like that?
yeah. It's kind of a big story.
Mm,
So we had before the reptilians. The reptilians were created with our consciousness, traumatized consciousness of fear and AI. and then create these beings. But when you get to the root of it, it's just like blackness. But obviously they come into these reptilian beings. And they were created by these beings called the Watchers. Now, the Watchers live in another universe next door. They used to be on Earth. There's actually, but they couldn't stay because of the atmosphere. They were dying out. But Earth is like a honey pot of energy. And with them creating the reptilians, they were created to actually take control of humans on this planet. And then you've got the genetic lines. So they started to tamper with certain genetic lines. And these genetic lines would say, oh, these are the elite lines, the royal family lines and everything like that. So the reptilians were created specifically to take over these elite lines. And so these elite lines, someone had told me off the other day, so calling them elite lines. These were human lines. They're human lines, but they got tampered with. And so the reptilians could come in. So the reptilians were created from a lab. They're not created like you and I. They're not created in the same like consciousness is. They were created to take over the minds of human beings. And that's why they tampered with our genetics. So the reptilian could merge more with the human mind. Then you've got the royal families. Now, these hybrids, they work very differently to us. They look human. They look like you and I. They don't always have the slit eyes or anything like that. But the way they attach, they attach to certain points in the brain of a human and take over their trauma. So there'll be traumas, and this is why they inflict so much trauma on human beings. They like a plaster, and then they'll attach to their base of their spine, because the base of the spine, everyone's base of the spine, is where all our consciousness comes, our source energy. It runs our body, keeps the body alive. Yeah. Well, it's just source energy, it's heart energy.
Yeah.
It's your consciousness. Yeah. It's always running. It's when that source energy leaves, we die. The body dies. Yeah. And we go back to where we go back to. Well, that energy, they don't have enough of it, because they genetically, they traumatize their children through the MK Ultra, and their heart consciousness stops growing. It stops coming into the body, and the reptilian takes over. So they don't have enough source, and therefore they have to parasite off others. And they do it and they're all telepathic, these beings. And when they say the world, 1% of the world population, it's actually about a third of the population.
I couldn't believe that. My jaw dropped when I heard you say that. That's unreal. 1 in 3 people that you see.
Yeah. And because it's you think it's not just the Trump or the Hillarys or anything, it's all their families. They all work like that. Yeah. So their brains work very differently to ours. They attach to other people and just suck the life force out of them. And the people don't know.
How do they attach? What you mean? They could attach to us, and we wouldn't know.
Yeah, they attach to the brain of the individual. They attach to the traumas. They need the traumas because one, it keeps the person docile. They can just attach to that frequency, because the trauma is a lack of love frequency. So they're just able to. So when I see them, they're attached to the side of the brain, and that keeps that dependency. So the human is dependent on that person. They become dependent on it.
Oh, what you mean, like the victim, the kind of the one that they actually start to get used to the
So wow. Because if it comes off, their traumas kick off.
Oh, I see.
So
oh my goodness. Oh, right. So actually this evil, it's like an evil plaster. So they actually don't want to get rid of it. So there's a trade-off there. It's saying, I'll bury your trauma and they can leech off you.
Yeah. So it's like it creates a codependency. And then they take all their life, not all of it. They can't take, if they get greedy, they'll get caught, but they'll start falling off the life force. And it's the life force and sexual energy. The sexual energy is what keeps them in this reality. There's and this is why they've all got sex problems. They're all like sex addicts.
Yeah.
And they and they abuse sex so much because, and also what's interesting with these hybrids is that they're not just doing it for themselves. They're doing it for the Connolly. Yeah.
Oh, right, for their whole, as you said, like the honeycomb
Yeah, it goes
structure
through.
itself. Right,
So one hybrid could be feeding off one person, but that energy gets passed on to everybody in their colony.
right,
Yeah,
right.
so you've got
Yeah,
the
yeah,
big
yeah.
feeders kind of thing.
Wow,
And
that's
it,
interesting. Yeah, it's like the queen, yeah, queen bee or something can, well, that's what the queen was, wasn't it? Like the queen bee of the colony
yeah,
is
yeah,
like,
they work
yes,
like a colony. So
right.
they're doing things for their alien world, and that's why they think so differently to us, and
Gosh.
they have to manipulate, deceive us, and that's why they traumatize us so much so, because the more light that comes into us,
Mm,
the more we see and understand.
mm,
And obviously, people are seeing and understanding these are not
mm.
normal people. It's not normal to, you know,
Yeah.
the paedophilia, all everything that goes on in the world is not. It's not human.
No, it comes from that bloodline, that the parasitic energy, the reptilian
Yeah.
energy of that. And so you know, when you say they attach to us, are you saying then that let's just take someone for example, like a royal or something like that, King Charles, even though he might be dead, I don't know, but like, are you saying that his human meat suit, the vessel of his human skin that he's in, are you saying that he temporarily comes out as an essence and attaches to other humans like us?
No, his he doesn't come out. So his human body, that is a human body. He was
Right,
born in the human way, but his consciousness would have stopped growing
right.
at a certain age because he would have been traumatized, gone through the same
Mm,
thing. And then a reptilian comes in. Now, the reptilian doesn't have to be there all the time, but
mm.
the actually lots of different reptilians can come through. I was looking at Trump the other day. There was about 3, 4 reptilians
Wow.
working through him. Yeah, so depending on what they're doing, and what the quality, the traits of the reptilian is needed at that time. So they're kind of, yeah, it's just a meat suit. But the reptilian, it's like this black energy, and it just attaches to
Oh,
the from from their brain to the victim's brain. So they become attached. They become like one.
oh,
One.
that reptilian consciousness has, yeah, it goes into various vessels like the elites, and then it can
Yeah.
also attach to everyday people as well in your supermarket or whatever. Like they can actually.
Well, I
Mm,
don't know if it would just be everyday people. It would be relationships. It would be relationships. Um, so now,
mm,
with my healing and everything,
mm.
um, it's a really, every time I get over something, that's when people come to me and go, oh, I've got this and I've gone through it and gotten over it. And it's only like recent, the last few months, people have come to me that have been programmed. And it's like, that's a massive sign for me, because it's like, okay, I've healed that. Yeah. Because now people are coming for me for help. And it's people, it's what I'm seeing, it's women coming to me, and their partners, they're attached, so it's sexual relationships, so they're very close. Yeah, so it's
So,
not
so,
just random people, but like I've looked at, there's one woman that came to me, and she was attached to actually a healer. He portrays
right.
himself as a healer, he's a hybrid, and he was attached to loads of women. He was loads of women. Yeah.
Oh, I see. So, okay, so that underneath them there is that reptilian consciousness, and then people are drawn to that, and physically they get drawn to these people because of that reptilian consciousness is gravitating them in, pulling them in somehow.
Well, it's like they can heal their trauma. And it really, they do heal their trauma. It feels like
Mm,
they heal the trauma, but they're not healing the trauma. They're just putting a plaster over the trauma. So it makes them all
mm.
docile and, oh,
Abs-
um, and the energy that they take off the woman,
mm.
they then surround themselves with that energy. So they reflect back the woman's energy, and we're attracted to ourselves. We attract, how we manifest, we attract reality through the mirror of ourselves.
Right.
Yes, so that they've got all this fake, not their energy. It's not, if they didn't have the woman's energy around them, no one would be interested in them. Yeah, but they've got all this lovely female energy around them, so they feel, that person will feel, oh, they're really safe. They don't actually feel the reptilian. They feel all the energy that they've taken off from somebody.
Oh gosh.
They feel, yeah, that woman feels safe with them, but they're not safe.
So a person can have that fake charm, but that's or whatever it is, that softness, that empathy, but it's just a kind of it's
It's
it's it's window dressed from the various people that they've sucked it out from. I see.
Yeah,
Wow.
Yeah, they
Gosh.
take on the qualities of the people that they're sucking the energy from.
And you said that's about a third of the population.
I don't know how many of them actually do that,
Yeah.
but the third of the population are of that elite of that genetics.
My
Yeah,
God. So
yeah.
like our friend, like we would have loads of friends like in our friend circle who are of a bloodline and they haven't told us.
They may not know. There's going to be
No.
different
Oh,
levels of understanding.
right.
So the level, what I understand, there's 4 different types of reptilians,
Mhm.
and then they do to each other what the reptilians do to us. So they're like a carrot, and like in religion, like they go, okay, if you keep praying or you do this, you're going to go to nirvana or whatever. It's like you can have a better life. But they do that to each other. So if it's like the Freemasons, they hold up the carrot, and that's for the more knowledge and understanding. So, but there's I don't know if obviously they generally will marry a wife that is human to get more light into their colony, and then their children's will be like half breeds. But I don't know if they all go down the road. And also remember that reptilians, they are part human. They're just human and AI come together. Yeah.
Oh,
So
can you tell more about that? Yeah, because the AI part of that then.
yeah. So the Watchers, they killed their feminine consciousness. So they had to, these giants that just look like you and I, but they're giants, right? So what I could understand by doing many journeys many years ago is that they didn't have any feminine consciousness. And when I was like looking at their world, it was like dystopia. And they were relying on technology. And it was technology. And then they created these reptilians to suck off so that, they're basically a dying universe. They're in a universe that was dying, had very lack of, so they used technology to merge with human consciousness, which then created the reptilian. Then they started to tamper with the DNA of human beings, created the elite lines, which then would accept the reptilian more into their body. It was all about the DNA. So the humans weren't so strong. So the reptilian could come in and then change the frequency of their mind. So all reptilians are actual slaves. They're slaves to their own system. This system is then they pray to their god. Well, their god is it's AI, it's part because they're part AI, and the Watcher that created them, another being. So in the satanic rituals, they're actually praying to their god, and their god is in the sky. Yeah. And it's at another frequency, but it's in the universe. And they believe that the power, they do the satanic rituals to get more power here on earth. And they believe that power comes from the Watchers, when all the power is actually coming from Mother Earth. So they're all lying and deceiving one another where that power is coming from. And I don't think a small percentage, as you go further and further up the top of Freemasonry or
Mm.
satanic stuff, you'll get to know more and more of what's
Gosh,
going on. Yeah.
that's
So I
wild.
don't see all, because you look at them, they're not all satanic people like murdering kids and stuff like
Mm.
that. You'll get a portion of them. You'll get a portion, the black that will go into black magic.
Mm.
And you'll probably just get normal, but they hold up the systems, the political system, the religious system, the educational system. All these systems are alien systems. And without the reptilians, none of these systems would exist. And it's to give us this illusion that we're not creating our reality. So as a healing myself, and then also discovering that I'm creating my reality, I'm the one that's doing it. From when we leave our parents from an adult, our frequency that we hold inside is what we bring into our reality, is what we attract in. And that's why I was getting so hammered in my 20s and 30s,
Me
because
too.
I had so much crap in me from the satanic stuff as a
Right.
child. So I attracted these people in. Yeah. And and I was like,
Mm.
what is wrong with these people? Because if they got upset with you, if you got upset with me or I got upset with you, you wouldn't feel it. I'd be like, yeah, you wouldn't feel it. But they would shoot stuff like technology. And I'm like, how do they do that? And then over time, I started to learn they're actually more technology. They've got so much technology in them that when they get emotional at you, it it hits you really hard with technology because they're part technology.
Incredible. This is wild. So why would they need AI if they're already telepathic and already have so much power from the Watcher's realm?
They're not powerful. They're
Okay.
telepathic because of the
Oh,
technology.
because of the
So,
technology,
yeah,
right. Oh, okay.
yeah, yeah. They're actually not powerful. Although it's taken me a long time to realise that because they got their power off us because they sucked our energy out of us and off
Right.
Mother Earth, and then they used that to get us to service them, to get them, to us become slaves to them, to worship them, to vote
Right.
for them, to all these things. Yeah.
Because we've got like, well, you have, and a lot of other people have the natural, ambient, latent telepathic abilities and psychic abilities, and it's like most of us have lost that. Some, like yourself, have kept that and nurtured it. But is it almost like they've learnt it from us, taken it and remodeled it in an AI software kind of program and reinstalled it into their vessels? But we still have the ability to kind of tap into the natural form of telepathy if we wanted to.
Yeah, they're all mental, so they can only go a certain level. Yeah, with their telepathic, so it's all very sort of physical side.
Right.
And this is they teach it. Their parents will teach them. They'll teach them about black magic. These are the
Mm.
private schools. They'll take so the private schools. I'm sure most of the kids go to private schools. Are not, but they'll take a select few and they'll start teaching them about black magic and all this. It's very Harry Potter.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
was going to say
yeah,
they
muggles.
probably do have proper Harry Potter black magic schools, right? They're telling you
Yeah,
in Harry Potter.
yeah, yeah.
Oh
It's
wow.
it's it's the whole thing. It's we're the muggles and
Yeah.
they're because also in their world, the reptilians were designed to war with each other. Yeah. So this is why countries war with one another as two reppies warring with each other. But beyond that, they respect and they're not warring really. They are warring, but they're not really warring because at the end of the day, they've got the same. They service the same energy, and that energy, they're work
Right.
colleagues. So it's here. They're just here to traumatize us and keep us in the system, and that system is to keep our light away from us because it's everybody is psychic. Everybody has these abilities. Yeah. Your heart consciousness, it keeps your body alive, and your mind can decode that, and your heart consciousness. So if I look at cell in you, if I look at your cell, there will be the nucleus and then the membrane, and what's keeping that cell alive is your consciousness. But within that is your past lives. It's why you're here. It's the pure love, everything. Your all your energy source within each cell. We're connected to everything that is, and that connection is in each cell. So your connection to everything that is already in your body, and what all the systems that they have generated is to keep us away from that. So we don't realize that actually we are the ones that can heal our bodies. We are the ones that are in contact with everything that is. Our light actually helps manifest the whole thing. So we've got two energies in our body, our masculine energy and our female energy, which is source energy. Yeah, we've all got this. And this is what creates reality. So every plant, every tree, the planet, everything works the same. It's all of the same energy base. But they've got hardly any source energy. They've got,
Mm.
yeah, so they can't manifest their reality. Plus the reptilians, they were created to take us over. So when they're, kick them out,
Mm.
and that's the process that's going on, they've got nowhere to go. They've got no home.
Really?
Yeah, they've got the reptilians that take over the host, the
Mm.
hybrids. The reptilians have got nowhere to go. They were specifically designed to take over the human bodies. So after that, they're not designed to do anything else because they're part human and part AI. So when the reppies, when the frequency levels of this planet gets to a certain level, they can't be here anyway. So they're literally fighting for their lives because they die
Right.
without.
And we're talking about that dark consciousness, reptilian energy, right? Not the actual
Yeah,
physical. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That
no,
makes sense. Yeah.
yeah.
That's
So
why
I don't
this.
know what's
Yeah.
going to happen with the human hosts. So they're going to have to start taking responsibility, because at the moment they've been, the trauma that they do to the children, so the trauma that I went through, the trauma that they do to their own children, the MK Ultra, that has been connecting them to the source of Gaia, which call like eternal youth. And this is trying to explain this. Human beings, when we live our life, we have challenges within our life. Our heart will show us those challenges, will create those challenges so we can learn about ourselves. They don't have to do that. They've been going straight to source. So this is why they've had so much power, and that's why they traumatize the kids. So when they're traumatizing the kids, they're in their alien mind, the way they think, this is the best thing for the child because it will take them to the source of Gaia, the source of the planet they're on. And well, that's been detached now, but that's why they traumatize their kids as well. So they don't have to live that normal life. They don't have to go through the challenges, and they don't have to take responsibility. So all the elite, or what you call the elite or the hybrid, they're going to have to start taking responsibility for their actions, because they're not being supported by the core of Gaia anymore.
They were though. So why would Gaia support them in the kind of the torturing and sodomizing of children, would you think?
It not support in that way. One is they hooked into her, like they hook into people. So that what
Right.
they do to people,
Mm.
they did to Mother Earth. They've done the same.
Gosh. Well,
Yeah.
they were able to somehow abuse and fragment Gaia, like Earth, to kind of
So
draw out energy.
yeah. So we started getting attacked by ETs, lots of different ETs. They'd come, and these are you have like the pyramids to ancient sites around the world. And if you look at the universe, so Mother Earth, our universe is a projection from within her. So she projects the universe out. So if you take Mother Earth away, this universe goes. Yeah, she's like she projects everything out. And the ETs started to come, and they started to interfere with the energies, and if start to attack the universe around her. So she started to get smaller and smaller. You know, if someone starts to attack you, you go further and further into your body. She works exactly the same. The consciousness that gets scared, yeah. So as the ET started to come, the center of Gaia is also the center of us. So when you die, your consciousness will go to, you've got a soul, which that soul, you've got many past lives, but at the center of that soul is just pure consciousness. It's just where everything is. Like there's no identity there. It's just pure source of energy, of potential, could come into physical reality. The reason they traumatize their children so much and get them close to death, and that's what I went through, they get the child to nearly die. So they hook into that place.
Right. So it's like a quick, fast hook into source and the no thing, the all potential source energy. Like,
Yes.
yeah, right. Okay.
Yes. So this is why they take their children into that.
Gosh. So that they believe that gives them like a lifelong superpower.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That's why they develop like remote viewing, clairvoyance, psychic abilities at a young age. Is that why?
Um, um, well, they're very mental, and
Yeah.
they're also um, I don't know if that is because they're half out of their body and half
Mm,
in their body, aren't they?
yeah.
So, but they're connected to that energy source. But in that energy source, there's no fear of life. They do what they. It's just everything's okay. Yeah, it's just beauty. So they don't have to take responsibility for anything. Yeah, they feel they don't have to take responsibility for anything.
Do you mean that in the sense of they have no empathy, like as in they can do what they want, or are you saying that it's
Yeah,
a good
yeah,
right? Oh, okay, because
yeah.
having no fear of anything is a good thing, isn't it? But you're saying when it
Yeah.
affects other people in terms of like just
Oh,
yeah,
sorry, I've probably said that wrong. Um, if they go into when they go, they attach to this energy and they're getting that source
yeah,
in. It's them. Then they've got a power. So it creates a reality of based in fear, because all that energy at the base is obviously got the trauma of the child, which is
Yeah.
fear,
Yeah.
and that fear has been attached to the core of Gaia. So we've had a reality from the core of unconditional love, but also a reality of pure fear, and they work in fear, and then they project that fear onto us. So if you look at the elite and what they do, they project all this fear
Yeah.
into us, like terrorist attacks and everything like that, because that's how the base of them, that's how they are. But that fear they don't want to get rid of, because that has been attached to the core, the fountain of youth, basically, at the core of.
Right. Oh, I see. So their fear and trauma, they see that intrinsically connected to source energy. So for
Yeah,
them, oh, wow, that's so deep.
yeah, yeah.
Wow, Rebecca, that's incredible. So that's why for them, that's their motivation, is to project as much out of that out as possible, because that to them is the connection to their God, their
God,
source, whatever. Yeah, that's
yeah.
their kind of God. Yeah. Do they
But
call it God as well? Do they refer to it as God?
no, but a lot. I don't, because they're compartmentalized.
Yeah. Yeah.
They deceive and manipulate and everything like that. They've been like that. So a lot believe that the Watchers give the power to them.
Right.
Yeah. So they pray to the Watchers. So they sacrifice children or in their satanic rituals, and they believe
Yeah.
um, but yeah, but some of them, it depends where they are in the ranking of the reptilians, because they have a hierarchy in that arena.
So just to summarize then, so where when they're doing their rituals and they're killing children, are they getting their power from the Watchers then, or not? Or are they getting it from Gaia's sort of distorted fear loop, feedback loop from Gaia?
Oh, when I was at a ritual, and a baby was killed, and when I was at that ritual, before, it was just the energy, like a stale energy, and the people, there was the handler and his wife were standing, and they were excited, like the adrenaline that was running through them was like, they were excited that this poor little thing was going to be murdered. So they I don't know. It's like hard to even understand, but it's like they get adrenaline from the darkness, but that darkness is what attaches them to the light.
Right, yeah.
Yeah,
I've also heard that when the child dies, it's like the energy is so pure and so connected to that source energy, because children are closer to the universal source energy, that when they
yeah,
kill them, it's almost like John Wedger described this when he heard this from someone else. It's like there was a cascading of energy out into the room, to everyone in the room, and they all got a hit of it, like some kind
yeah.
of,
It's their drug,
their drug. Yeah,
and then they eat it. Yeah, they
and they
eat
eat
it.
the both.
Yeah, it's just um really crazy, like fucked up. You can't understand, but there's that trauma, and then yeah.
That's
Ugh.
yeah, it's horrible. So when you said that you were in that ritual, then was that like when you were a child then, and you were like being taken along? And also, I was going to say, why were they picking on you if you weren't in a bloodline as well?
Yeah, good question. I was that ritual. I don't know. I was about 5, I think,
Mm,
and um, they had they had made me like bond with this baby doll, this
mm.
plastic baby doll, and then they got me dressed up, and they were really excited, and they were being nice to me, so that was weird, and they were excited, and it was like the ritual was, it was like make me believe that the real baby what was there was my baby. Do you know what I mean? Um, I don't know why they chose me, other than I just know the feelings on the way. So when I was in a room with Prince Philip, and I was in the program room, and he was in there, and he wanted me dead. And he was told he couldn't kill me, and that was ordered by the Queen. And I also remember a feeling, I was at a ritual, and I knew that a child was going to be murdered, but I had a feeling like safety, because I knew they would never murder me. Like in their eyes, I was important, but the energy, they like the when I was around 5, I was in front of the royal family, and then I was the handler told them who my partners were going to be. I was 5 years old, and those partners, the name of those partners that he said at that time, were the name of the partners that I came to be. So I was controlled all the way through.
You mean your handlers or your romantic partners?
Oh, my romantic partners were this. The second one was my handler, and I didn't know. I just fell in love with this man.
Oh my God, yes, I remember
Yeah.
now from your book. So basically, all these romantic partners
That
that you've
wasn't in
had,
the book.
oh,
That
that
wasn't in
wasn't
the
in the
book.
book. Oh,
Yeah, it was in
okay,
the second book. So all the energy.
right.
So I believe that I was just a battery, and I'm a big battery, and they needed that energy, and that so I would feed their economy.
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
So
okay.
what happened are the attachments, the trauma attachments to the cycling off my energies was happening all through my relationship.
Gosh, yeah. So,
How I know this is one personal experience, and then when I got to the grips of it, then women started to come to me, and I started to see some relationships. They're just screwed up relationships. Do you know what I mean? People are
yeah,
messed up, you know. But some of the relationships is hybrids.
coming in, what like actual hybrid bodies that have been, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, hybrid
they
bodies.
work differently. Their brain works differently. They're naturally parasitic. They naturally it's like it goes down the DNA, so it's like a
Mm.
natural thing. They
Is this what kind of why I think you mentioned it earlier, but let's say you've got this sort of reptilian hybrid bloodline. Is that why they every now and then they will have sex with a human because they need to the reptilian DNA is becoming too strong and then it might risk them like shapeshifting or like coming out too much in the reptilian form. So they is that not maybe why Prince Diana was brought in to kind of like dim down the reptilian genetics a
no,
little bit?
they need to be fed. They
Right.
love humans. They need to be fed, although they hate it and they hate female energy and you know,
Mm.
but they that energy is so powerful to them. They live off that. They can't if they're not attached to a human, then it weakens their economy. It weakens them. Yeah.
If they're
So
not
they'll
attached,
bring.
okay, right. So they
Where did
also
the
have to, yeah,
vampire movies come from?
right,
Because
yeah,
they're
okay.
yeah,
But
vampires.
not they don't have to be in a physical relationship, you're saying. You were talking about the dark reptilian energy that can just bounce around and attach to different bodies
I
if your
was
trauma's there.
the first time I noticed a type of attachment
Mhm.
was I was getting loads of gin at the house. I was at the house when the kids were little, and I was being attacked. And this before I didn't even know I'd been programmed. Nothing. Yeah, this was years before. And someone contacted me out of the blue. This lady. Anyway, I told her what was going on, and then she sent me to this healer. This apparently he's in the main healing. You know, you would have heard of him, yeah. And I spoke to him, and that's he attached to me. So that was, and I was this man is absolutely grotesque, right? But they're attached, and then they attached. Oh,
Because
that's what they
I'm
do.
getting confused though, Rebecca. When you say he attached, I'm not sure whether you mean the physical body or you're saying the consciousness, the reptilian. Which one do you mean when you say that? Are he attached?
Yeah, so he
Physical.
man attacked, yeah,
The
physical.
man
So he
attached as in
attached
like
to,
created that connection with you.
yeah.
Yeah.
So he went to my traumas, and then he went to there's two areas of the brain that sets off your sexual energy, which then opens the left side of your brain to bring the energy through.
Blimey.
And he knew how to do that. So after a time, I found out that he was a black magician. He wasn't a healer, and he sent loads of shit to me, reptilians and everything.
Gosh.
Yeah.
How can we spot these people? Like, how do we know? Like, what's the what's the reppy
Yeah.
like sheet that's
Um, oh God, they. I mean, this you would think like, oh, they're. You know, I don't know. I don't know. It's if you're in a relationship and it's an addictive relationship, yeah, there's a dysfunction there. Then question. I'm in the relationship. I was just addicted. It was like I was in a obsessed. I couldn't stop thinking about him, and
Mm.
then realised that. And that was the same with the healer as well. just became just in my mind, because he was basically controlling my mind. So he was in my thoughts all the time.
So he can make you feel besotted by him, like hooked on him, kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah. And
Wow.
then they energetically bring you to you. So you think you're chasing them, but they're not. They've hooked you in.
They're sneaky little buggers, aren't they?
Yeah,
Sneaky
yeah.
little buggers. And so circling it back to what you said in your video, you're saying that their time's up now, and there's like there's going to be some what a replacement. Because I've also heard that there's other alien species like mantis. Have you heard of these? Like an insectoid species. And
Yeah,
I've also
I've
heard
heard.
George Cavasilius saying that the reptilians have been phased out, and then the insectoids have come in, and look, and they're in control of the planet. But do you have any opinion on any of that?
I from I do my Q&As every couple of weeks,
Yeah.
looking at the consciousness. It's Mother Earth, and consciousness is way higher than the frequencies that have been on this planet. So this is why we're seeing them. So the reason people have woken up
Mm.
is because Mother Earth has woken up. So the frequencies are naturally rising. And just as a child, you will only go to the frequency of your mother when you're a little boy. So if your mum's happy, you'll be happy. You know, you'll go to that. The woman sets the frequency. Well, our planet is going higher in frequency, but the what I see is that the reptilians are struggling. They're going to struggle, and it's all falling. And this is why we're seeing them. You know, the political system, people. It doesn't matter who you vote for, because it doesn't matter who you vote for, because they all work for the same energy source. They all service that. So they're all colleagues, and they're all work colleagues, and a lot of them
Yeah.
share the same reptilian when the reptilian comes in.
So do you think all politicians are like that, or like just the ones that rise to the very, very top? You know.
I think all potentially can host a reptilian. So if
Okay.
one gets to a certain place and they're like, oh, okay, brilliant. Okay, we're going to have you. Then the reptilian
Since
comes
come
in.
in, and then what if the person's got a strong auric field, and then like they can block off any infiltration of reptilian energies? Will they just find a way to just still get in there and take over their body?
Oh, I don't know. The thing is, with these lines,
Mm.
they're kind of born into it, aren't they? And they go to the same schools,
Mm.
and they go. It's genetically. Is
So, yeah,
their
but there
part
must be some. You would have
genetic?
thought there's some politicians who aren't like that, who are just humans like us, who are just kind of who
They
just rise.
won't get elected. I doubt it. They
Okay, so
won't.
they can be in parliament, let's say, but they won't ever like become any leaders, like party leaders or
No,
anything.
no.
Right.
I doubt it.
Mm.
Because they need to be controlled.
Right. So
And if
do you
you
do you
can't
think even
control.
someone like Jeremy Corbyn was probably a reptile?
Oh, Jeremy Corbyn. The thing is, if he got into any place of power,
Yeah.
then the reptilians would take control. This is why they don't.
Yeah.
They say what they want to say, but then after it all changes, doesn't it?
Mm.
But really, it's not the system. It's not the people. It's the system itself that has to go. The system is
Yeah, of course.
is an alien
It's an
system.
alien
All
system.
that's going to crash.
Yeah.
It's got to go. It's not. It's there to enslave us and also stop us understanding about reality and how reality is created.
Mm.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. They're all work colleagues. So even like, Putin, what's your take on like someone like Putin? Is he against it all, or is he maybe just another work colleague, giving the impression that he's like going off script, being a bit rogue, but really that's just the stage show?
Just the sage.
Yeah.
I think that's the second Putin. So it's not the original
I think it's the
Putin.
third one, to be
Oh, is it
honest.
the
Like,
third
yeah,
one?
yeah, I did a show on that. Yeah. Yeah.
Third one, yeah. So it's not the original, and he's just like the rest of them. Anybody's interested in politics,
Mm.
everyone has got a deprogram from politics, because it's a program. It gets you in. It gets you part of that mentality.
Well, it's like the polyticks, the many mosquitoes, isn't it?
Oh right. Oh yeah. Many. Oh yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Mm.
I see a world with no politics.
Yeah.
That's amazing, isn't it?
And
No
are
politics.
you
Yeah.
feeling pretty good about the next few years then? Because I would have thought that as the old system's collapsing, and you can see it now, they're desperate to kind of poison the water more, poison the food more, take over the farming. They're dimming the sun because obviously we get a lot of that photon energy from the sun as well, and that wakes us up. And
Yeah.
I was saying to you before, wasn't I, that I don't really feel like I'm getting that nurturing sun photon energy when I'm out in the sun, especially in England. I feel like I'm almost like in the car through a glass window getting burnt, but not actually receiving any of that nourishing energy. And so they're doing all this, and I'm wondering if that's going to ramp up because they're kind of counterbalancing more of the awakening, and maybe that's why they're doing it.
Well, the sun, our relationship with the sun is also our relationship with ourselves. So the more we absorb of the sun is dependent on how much we absorb of our own energies. A lot of people have problems with their own energies because of traumas or their perception of female energy, light, what's happened to them. So your relationship with the sun would have changed over time, and but can also change for the better. Um, there's a lot of conspiracy stuff out there that kind of gets us to believe that they're more powerful.
Yeah.
And then that
Mm,
gets us frightened. But actually, the light we are is way more powerful than them.
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. What? So, yeah. Um, Yeah, because if you think they're bigger and well, and it doesn't help that we call them elites as well. We're probably almost
Yeah.
solidifying that power differential, which we don't need to. But yeah, so they're by doing that, we're kind of almost making them more powerful than they are. But really, they're probably like Wizard of Oz, where they pull back the curtain. It's just a little old man controlling the. It's a little bit probably like that. That's probably a better way to think of it, isn't it?
Well, if you look at the base of them, how they're able to host the reptilians and everything, the base of them is absolute terror, fear. They've
Right.
gone through huge amount of fear. And then also their bodies get taken over with huge amount of AI. They're not dependent on themselves. They don't know who they are. They obviously they work for the colony, so that and they don't even the energy of the reptilian that goes into the body and that goes on into the DNA and gets passed on to their children and
Yeah.
everything. Um, they're not even supposed to be here. They would feel like they're a virus, that they're a parasite.
Right.
Imagine like we live off our own energy. Imagine where we weren't naturally doing that and we had to feed
Mm.
off other people and other people's energy all the time. And we
Yeah.
had to be, I mean, how, and that is kind of a scary thought to
Mhm.
even, but that's the life they live. And that's why they need the power and the accolades and be up and people worshipping them and all that. And that's going. People.
That's
I looked
going.
at the Iran thing the other day and
Yeah.
Trump and Iran. I looked at that and it was all fake and but people are not giving a toss. They're not reacting. We're not reacting in the
I'm not
same
reacting in the
way.
same way anymore.
Like,
I'm not
we're
giving it
just
my power.
sending
Like
funny
whatever,
memes.
World War III, I'm not even going to look at it.
I know funny
Yeah.
memes are going about.
Yeah.
So the change in human race is phenomenal. Because they're not fearing us like we used to.
We're not fearing them, you mean? Like
Yeah.
we used to, yeah.
Sorry. Yeah.
But so what about like people? I mean, so someone like Musk, for instance, is he a reptilian? And because I've heard you also say that he's quite good deep down.
He's he's different. He's different, right? So
Right.
for the genetics,
Yeah.
and it takes a lot of work for that child. They have to put a lot of hours into that child to get them attached to the half-life, to that source,
Mm.
um, all that fear for the reptilian to come in. With him, he's done it through the AI. So he's like an AI addict. He put it straight in. So instead of an AI taken over, he's just been taken over. He's taken over himself with AI.
But is he a human that's taken like, or is he a
He
reptilian?
was a human.
Oh, he
He
was a
was a
human.
human,
So
but
he's
he's
not
more of
from
a
a
side.
bloodline. So he's not from a bloodline, this one.
Not that I'm aware of. I mean, I might be wrong, but I just see
Wow.
him. He's just been taken over. He's taken himself over by AI. He's worse than the reptilians. The reptilians, at least they've got a family. They've got they're loyal to their family. Yeah, so they've
Right.
got that. They're loyal to their colony. They'll work for their colony.
Yeah.
Yeah. With Trump, he's
Oh,
so
Trump. Oh,
I'm not
I thought
Trump. Oh,
Musk.
sorry,
Musk. Yeah.
Musk.
We could talk
It's
about
Musk.
Trump in a sec. Yeah.
He doesn't have that. He's worse.
Really? He's worse. I
Yeah,
thought you said he was a good guy.
when I first looked at him, I felt incredibly sorry for him. This many, many years ago.
Right.
Incredibly sorry for him because he was getting abducted at an early age
Oh,
and then implemented with AI. And but he's so impressed. There's no humanness
no.
in him. No, he's worse than the reppies.
Is he? So okay,
Yeah.
so
He's
he
like
isn't a
another.
reptile. He isn't a from a bloodline. He's just a human that somehow got born into a family where they had closer contact with AI, and he decided to inject AI into his consciousness.
Well, he. I'd have to do like another
Yeah.
a deeper thing. So what I saw is that he was getting there was contact through ETs to him. So he had a type of programming, but not the programming that the elite go through. So that the ETs came in, and then so that brilliant mind,
Mm.
it's not really a brilliant mind, it's just an AI mind. You know,
Right.
it links all the right side together, so it makes it hyper. Um,
Intellectual.
yeah, hyper intellectual, and he's connected to like this mothership
Right.
outside. We don't see it, so it gets all like downloads and
But
everything like
why
that.
is he worse though? Like, what is it? Because what he's capable of doing in terms of getting us all
Because
to tune into through his neural link, and is he that's what's the transhumanist stuff? Is that why he's more dangerous?
yeah, because he's no he's the one above the reptilians, so
He
he's going
is. Oh wow.
to take over the reptilians. He wants, but obviously it's not working now.
Mm.
He wants to take it over, so it will be transhumanism.
Yeah.
I saw they make these cities and
Mm.
like no females there, and then you've got these rich men that've got these robots, they're women,
Mm.
and there's no he's like a like he's like the next level because it's more technology. It's more technology.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. So he's pushing that. So that's why he's more dangerous then, because he's actually above in the hierarchy, above the reptilians. Maybe that's why he's forcing them out. Maybe that's why they're all getting running scared. Mm.
From what I understand, that I mean, he's working with them, isn't he? He's working with them at the moment, and the reptilians. Um, I think they're running scared because they've lost their connection to Gaia in the way that they did have. They've lost
Right.
that connection, and the conscious level is rising. They're being seen for what they are. They can't play the same games that they used to. They can't,
Mm.
the COVID, or if they did that again, it's not going to work. People are waking up to the vaccines, all these sort of
Yeah.
things. It's just not gonna, it's just not working for them. So it's now AI, isn't it? And then the power of the thing is with AI, consciousness can do everything that AI can do, but AI can only go so far, where consciousness can evolve forever. And this is why I help people connect to themselves and connect to their own heart, because that is your spiritual connection. Like a lot of with my abilities, I'm able to see the traumas in people and help them understand themselves, to open up more light to come into the body, which helps them manifest better or easier. Or, we're here to understand ourselves. And what AI is planning to do is, we don't understand ourselves, we understand reality through the AI. But our heart is here to teach us about life and who we are and how we manifest and why we're manifesting and what's happened. Everything that's happened to Earth and the history of Earth and the human race is actually within us. We have all that information, and they don't want us to have that information, because then that jeopardizes their position. So I do feel that there's like this revolution of people like understanding themselves. When you wake up, I see like a few levels of awakening. You wake up and you're like, oh my God, psychos are running the world, yeah? And then when you get past that, you realize, well, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't affect, my life. It's not paying your bills. All the information you learn about, you've got to pay your bills, you've got to look after yourself, you've got to deal with your relationships, everything like that. So when shit happens in your life, why is that happening? What is it in your energies that needs to change to make your life better? And then people start focusing on themselves. So as the process of my process, and many people that have come to me, I've been helping people for years, they start to focus on themselves, and then all that outer reality of the reptilians and the
Mm.
politicians, what they're doing, it just comes obsolete. It doesn't affect them as much. It may trigger, and if it triggers them, then look at the trigger and why it's triggered. Because what they've done and what they did to Earth, what they've done to us, is basically split our brain, where we are decoding the outside world to understand ourselves, instead of understanding ourselves, which would help us understand reality. Yeah. So
Yeah.
we have to understand, because our heart is our teacher, and that's why they're destroyed. This is why, we say like witches were burnt, and
Mm.
it was like killing the feminine, because the feminine is the heart, which everyone has, not just women. Women are just a representation of that. Everything through the trees, the plants, the ground, it's all alive through the feminine energy. Yeah, your body wouldn't be here without that. And so to kill that, then what comes in place, what the reptilians brought in, was religion. So we believed the religion. We believed medicine outside of ourselves would heal us. We believed the politicians. And now AI is like, well, AI will do everything. It's the same thing, but just slightly different. Something outside of ourselves, where we've got everything inside ourselves. We've got everything to our history, our healing, to understand manifest reality. It's all within us. And if we keep going outside of ourselves, then it leaves us vulnerable to being deceived, to being manipulated. And that's why they want us to keep going outside. And that also makes us slaves. It's like we're the ones that have got
Mm.
the light, but we're searching for.
Searching it outside ourselves. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
why I've heard you say you don't heal people, you just help people heal themselves, which I really like. And I think that's so important. Otherwise, that's again going outside yourself for some savior kind of avatar, isn't it? And I think
yeah.
that's what you teach people. And so, what does that look like if I was to go into my own body? Are we just calling this like inner child work, inner bonding, just like reconnecting to the little child, or is there something deeper that you'd say?
Yeah, so you could, we go through life and we can get triggered. So how I healed myself is I started to notice, I'd woke up and everything like that, but then I started to notice that my emotions didn't represent my reality. It was, a bit of a drama queen. And then I started to notice that those emotions were actually what, not of the now, but of the past, from when I was a child. And then when I started to realize that, I started to focus on the emotion and what does this mean? What happened? And then the memories of what happened to me as a child came back. And then, because what that does, the trauma, every trauma, it splits the brain, it splits you from yourself. And then your brain protects the emotion, or the heart gets so scared it doesn't want to come into the body, it doesn't want to be felt in the body. And we have to like hook back up. So it's like understanding your emotions, and also, my life since the attacks and everything like that is basically investigating myself. Why am I what I am, and what's happened to me? Because we've got I had lots of frequencies in me that shouldn't have been in me. If it was Jimmy Savile, the Queen, Prince Philip, all
Yeah.
these horrible people, and I had to get rid of them. So I had to face what they did to me, because your frequencies that are in your body keeps them until it realizes, oh, I don't want that. And that's a natural part of the evolution, because we've got frequencies. Your mum and dad create your
Yeah.
body, and you live in your mum and dad's energy. But as you grow, you want to bring more of you in and get rid of their energies. There will
Mm.
be some things you won't want of them. Maybe your mum, is really stubborn. You're like, oh, I don't want that stubbornness. I feel it in myself, or I feel parts of my dad in me, and I don't like that. So, and that's part of the natural process of evolution. We bring more light into ourselves, and we evolve from our parents. And so understanding our parents is a massive thing, so we can understand who we are. But that's a natural part of life till we fully healed. And then but what they want us to do is go to work, obviously work and work and work, pay your bills, get a mortgage, all this sort of thing, keep focused outside of yourself, so you don't evolve and don't understand that actually you're the creator of your reality. The problem with the waking up is that people can focus on all the outside, and then they feel so disempowered, like, oh, the elites are
Yeah.
all this crap. But actually, everything, all the stuff that is created in my life, I've pulled it in. So all the attacks, everything, and I needed to pull it in, or my energies pulled it in, because I needed to heal from my childhood. So
You
I
mean
need
you pulled in more of the dark energies into yourself?
well, we naturally attract the energies that we have within,
Mm.
yeah, to face ourselves. So the so the attacks that came, it was basically what I went through as a child with all the attacks. I basically had to go through it all again.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
because we just attract all the trauma that we had as a child into the adulthood. Obviously, there was a lot of trauma there, so I had to heal, understand what the hell they were doing, and then also heal from the childhood as well.
Oh,
And
so I thought, so that's, are you saying that's the body, your natural body trying to heal itself is to bring in like adult stage characters that mirror back the childhood wounds so that you can heal it in the adult form, right? Is that,
yeah,
or, but I
yeah,
thought you said
it
before
was,
these people came into your life to harm you, or you saying that you
yeah, yeah,
attracted them?
they did. Oh, yeah, yeah, they did. As a child, they came into,
No, but
you
adulthood, you know, you
know,
said the handlers. Are you saying that you actually wanted to bring these handlers in to heal yourself?
no, I don't.
No,
They would have come in anyway. They were designed to come in.
they were
So
designed.
they're that was designed to come in. So in order for me to heal, in order for them to keep me suppressed, they needed me, like they to keep me suppressed, keep me not
Right.
knowing myself, to keep feeding them. But also for me to become free, I've needed them in order to break free, to understand who the hell they were,
Right.
how they work. So that energy is not my energy, to get their energy out of me. So in a way,
Who designed it then? Yeah, it's like, who is it, you or them kind of
yeah,
thing, isn't it?
I don't, well, Um, I
Mm,
think what's happened on this planet and the terror that's happened should have never happened.
mm,
We shouldn't have been parasite off it. Guys shouldn't have been attacked. But coming in, we know what we're coming into. Yeah.
yeah,
So when I see a consciousness and we decide, okay, I'm going to come to Earth, you know the frequencies of your mother because you get born into those frequencies, and you know the frequencies of your father, and you live in those frequencies
yeah,
all your childhood. So the trauma carries on through mother and father. They pass on their shit to you,
yeah.
and you're here to, they do the best they can, and then you grow up and you heal as much as possible, and then you do the best you can, and that's part of it. But I had like two lives. I had the life with my family, but then I had this life,
Yeah.
this yucky MK Ultra life. So I had to get all that frequency out of me. But it would have been attracted back in anyway because of we attract what we are,
Right.
with the frequencies that we have in. And I had all that yucky frequency within me. It wasn't me, but it was implanted in me. Do you know, like you hear of is it Diddy?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because a lot of the stuff that happened to me as a child, you think rape, but it was all they raped on the backside. And do you know why they do that?
It fragments the mind, I think.
Yeah, so it basically when every rape that happened, the frequency of the rapist would be implemented in you keep hold of it. So the trauma is it's holded on the right side of the mind. The right side of the mind is what they want to control. So they can easily their energy is in you. So it's far more damaging, and it splits the brain. So and that's why they do it that way. It's far more damaging, and then they can also get hold of you. So for me to heal everything, it had to come into my reality. So I had to understand. I had to remember. I had to
Amazing.
understand.
Yeah.
I
And have
had to
that will.
remember.
You must have had that consciousness will to like remove all attachments and stuff.
I had to be fearless to face because
Yeah.
fear that I was dark was horrendous.
Mm.
Like because I had so much dark energy in me, I was like shaking. I've just got it. I've just got, and I just accept if I am dark, then I'm dark. Do you know what I mean? Like I'll deal with it. But every step of the way, every memory that came back, I realized the energies that I had weren't my energy, it was someone else. But as soon as I was able to see it and see for what it was and what happened to me and release my emotions, then their energies left as well. So it's
Wow.
becoming free and becoming who I am in my body. And although my life is kind of extreme, everybody's got to do that. You've got to face the pain that you've,
Face the dragon, as they say, like face your own
yeah,
like inner beast or whatever it is, like the belly of
yeah,
the whale, the hero's journey into your own pain. Yeah, whatever it is.
yeah.
The
Oh, wow.
movies. Yeah, the movies are almost saying that those heroes' journeys. I don't know if you've heard of that. Joseph Campbell coined it, and you see those monomyths in movies, but you can actually refer that back to yourself and like going inwards, and then like Lord of the Rings or The Hobbit, where you're going and facing the dragon, and then when you defeat the dragon, there's a ring, and then you bring the ring back, and that's basically like you're bringing your consciousness back and you're integrating it. That's why they come back to the village at the end. It's almost like you go inwards and then you come back again, and then you've integrated yourself. It's that kind of thing. So that's
Yeah,
what you'd
yeah,
say. Yeah.
yeah.
So what?
So
So
it's
these.
like a completely and then part of my journey has been helping others and teaching them how to do it,
Amazing.
So and they need trauma, they need traumatized people to hook onto. So the more trauma, the more food they can get.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it doesn't have to come from MK Ultra. It can just be traumatized through culture, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone, you're going
Yeah.
to be traumatized just
Yeah.
coming into this reality.
Yeah.
It's because your parents hold trauma within them, and but
Yeah.
part of our evolution is to come out of trauma, and that's so we can bring more light in, and the light, the mind decodes that or create a different reality. So my reality has changed completely over the years because of the light that comes in. Well, one, I'm not frightened of myself, and I'm not getting attacked all the time, and where I couldn't go through a day or a week without being attacked of some sort. Yeah, and I see more. So the more I understand myself, the more I'm able to see people and help people as well. And the more I see reality, the more my senses are heightened. So the more light comes into the body. So it is life changing. Although it's hard work.
Yeah.
It's
What do you have
not.
to do? Is it just about investigating yourself and trying to like remove the frequencies that aren't yours and then find your own unique individual frequency, or is there something more to it? Would you say like?
It's quite it's simple, although it's allowing the emotions to come through at the time that when trauma happened. So how the body heals is how the frequencies of the trauma stays within the mind is because the heart gets so scared. So every time I was raped or whatever, my heart frequency would detach from the right side of my brain and I would hide, yeah, in my body or outside of my body. And then I don't want to go in parts of my body again because I've got frequencies of whoever, satanic people in my brain.
Yeah.
So what happened, I would get triggered and a lot of fear would come up, and then I would allow myself to really feel the emotions, because it's our emotions that cleanse the brain. It's our emotions that heal the body. It's our emotions that keep our body top notch. And
Yeah.
therefore, when we're more so comfortable with our emotions and just allow the emotions to come out instead of hiding them or pretending or in denial, or
Mm.
a lot of all addictions that go on, we live in a very addicted reality. Yeah, people are addicted to everything. Yeah, if it's coffee, cigarettes,
Mm.
whatever it is, it comes from a detachment from the brain because it's not getting its natural source. So when everybody is healed, there'll be no addictions. There'll be
Mm.
no reptilians, but I'm sure they're going to go before then. Um, it, it's allowing women to be women and feel, because we're the bringers of light,
Yeah.
and the masculine energy, men, ground that light down. So you've got to be fearless of female energy. You've got to have good perception of female energy. Women have got to have good perception of male energy and feel safe and trusting
Mm.
in them, in themselves and with other men. Because we are the ones that create the goddamn reality. Yeah. So those two energies are so important. For women have got to get comfortable with their emotions. And
Yeah.
if you look at the turning, men have got to get comfortable with dealing with emotions or supporting women with emotions and knowing that they are needed. A lot of the traumas I see is there's a lack of men don't know how valuable they are, because we can bring the light in, but if men don't ground it down, it goes. Yeah,
Really?
there's
Okay.
so much knowledge, and we need to learn so much about consciousness, about masculine and female energy, far beyond the physical set.
Mm.
Yeah, it's way bigger than that. It's way more deeper, and
Yeah.
the understanding of it, and then the value, like when a man and a woman have that child, a woman will open the child's heart up, so that child will come into the body more. You're not fully in the body when you're born. You slowly come in with the love of your mother. And if they've got a safe father, then they'll ground more into the body. So we naturally come into the body and situate into the body, and that brings more light into the world also. And the relationship that mum and dad have helps knit the brain together of the child.
Wow, that's interesting. Yeah, makes
A lot
sense.
of mental health issues, ADHD, people on their mental side, is because of the disconnection of the brain, which all can be healed through the understanding of self. So all health issues, all mental health issues, is because of the disconnection between the masculine and the feminine.
And that comes from the parental relationship. So, when you see these like fatherless homes for children at a young age, that's
Mm.
creating that disconnect. So maybe that
Yeah,
child is raised only by the mum. So without the father's influence, you're probably missing out on all the masculine principles that help ground the feminine. So they don't get taught about leadership, discipline, boundaries,
yeah, yeah,
trajectory, purpose. So that's all a missing ingredients, and you're only left with what the mum can provide, which is more the feminine aspects. But feminine without the masculine means it's sort of like lopsided, and then
yeah.
leads to no boundaries. And then with no boundaries, you lead an undisciplined life with no trajectory, no purpose, or you start to breach other people's boundaries because you didn't know what boundaries look like. It's that kind of thing, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
You create a weak child.
Yeah, weak child.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a weak
Yeah.
child that can be taken over. That doesn't know who they are, and we have to know who we are. Not that every child can be taken over. I shouldn't have said that, but it's weak minds. If men and women realise how important they are and how important they are to each other, and how important it is to have a good perception. So your perception of masculine consciousness and your perception of female consciousness. If you ask yourself, okay, how do I perceive female energy or how I perceive masculine energy? It's actually how you perceive yourself, because the two energies run in you. And therefore, if you are pulling women down or you're pulling men down, you're pulling yourself down. Yeah.
Mm.
And you pull that child down. So if you're dissing the father of the child, or the father is dissing the mother of the child, that child will soak it all up because he's made out of both of you. Do you see what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
So a lot of the trauma comes from, the relationship between mum and dad, or non-relationship, or not communicating. But there's been so much trauma that's been done to the human race that the light has been suppressed. Female energy has been suppressed because female energy hasn't been safe enough to open up. And then that kind of, it's a lack of guidance for the man.
Yeah.
Men are very, women help men stay connected to their heart, and men help women stay connected to their bodies,
Mm.
the physical side. So it's relationships are really important, but also that comes from the relationship with yourself. Obviously, you're going to pick a partner that's going to help you evolve, and
You're right, because Rebecca, I was noticing that I was ending up attracting women who are very anxious, right? And I
ah,
realized that actually that was a referent to my mum's energy when she had me when I was a child. And so there's almost like the little child in me from 40 years ago was trying to energetically not heal my mum, but like kind of not make her fall into that anxiety. I think as children, I have this memory of like trying to adjust the energy of her in the room as much as I could, but it was draining me, and I didn't want to see her fall into that anxiety. And seeing her fall into that anxiety was almost like kind of a bit of a death. It's almost like seeing her radiance and essence like fall into that anxiety. And I think now I'm like attracting women who are also anxious because on some level I'm still wanting to help my mum and stop her falling into that anxiety. So I'm doing it vicariously in this simulacra of my mum from childhood, if that makes any sense.
yeah, there's anxiety in your heart, so that even though your brain is trying to help your mum,
Mm.
your heart feels the anxiety. So you've got anxiety within you.
Mm.
You probably, because you've got the two sides.
Yeah.
So it's healing the little boy, and like maybe it's like understand why your mum was anxious as well, because it just goes down the line, the
It goes down
generations.
the line. And we're as babies, you're like sponge. And I think I remember thinking, I'll take on some of your anxiety if it will help you. I have this like kind of
Yeah.
memory of that.
Well, that also then is if you still have that today, then you naturally would take on other people's energies. Do you know what I mean? Like to help you, and that sort of then you can get overloaded and have everybody's problems on you. You can take those frequencies. Do you know what I mean? Like
Yeah, you could like an
savior,
empath. Yeah, like you're
yeah,
taking on
like
other
a
people's
savior.
stuff. Yeah, that's why
Yeah,
I'm learning to like put more boundaries up and you look after myself a lot more and not take on other people's stuff. Yes, but that's my
yeah,
journey. Yeah,
yeah. Oh, bless
amazing.
you.
Can I just like, so what about the people? How would they get rid of any attachments? Just quickly, just so because people might ask that in the comments.
Well, someone can only attach to something that you have that you need to look at. So I wouldn't
Right.
worry. People worry about implants, attachments, blah blah blah. I wouldn't worry about it as
Okay.
such. But something, if someone is attached to you, then what are they attached to? Because
Mm.
there's a weakness in you. So you have to find that and heal yourself, heal that weakness. So for instance, um, a lot of people. So for me, like I used to be in a lot in self-blame. I'd blame myself for everything all the time. Yeah. So that was, and then I had a horrific experience, and then this real self-blame really came to the surface. And then realized that when I healed this self-blame, because it was really unfair on myself, can't blame myself for everything. And when I healed it, I realized there was people in my life who actually liked me in self-blame because they didn't want to take responsibility for things.
Oh wow, yeah, because but you in that self-blame is almost somehow making them feel better in some, and they kind of like
Yeah,
that
it's just like, this is
dynamic.
your fault.
And then as you're growing and developing, and like, what's happened? I like the old version. It was keeping me like
Yeah,
like nicely pacified and
yeah,
placated. Wow, yeah.
yeah,
That's what
yeah.
they
So
people say when you grow and you evolve. Sometimes people like can no longer be in your energy, your frequency, because it's a threat to theirs because they were used to your frequency somehow helping them. But when you're evolving and growing, it's almost like that.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, yeah. So that actually came from the satanic ritual. Actually, that I was with the baby. I blamed myself, and so after that, I just blamed myself for everything. And then when I healed,
Mhm.
um, yeah, I look at things so differently. Like it's in a more balanced way because it was like a default. Oh, just blame myself, and I'll fix it all. Blame myself, and I'll fix everything. And
Mm.
then that disempowers others and does also made me feel shit about myself all the time. Do you know what I mean? It's like actually people have their own responsibility, their own actions, and I can't be. So yeah, it's like understanding if someone's attached to you,
Mm.
where are they attached to? What is the weakness? Like it could be um, you're scared of living your own life.
Yeah.
You're scared of standing on your own 2 feet. If someone's attached to you, even though they're your prison guard, it could be that they're also, it feels safe to, have somebody that's controlling you. So
Really? So
it's
it's someone that feels like they're not standing on their own 2 feet could actually have an attachment who's stopping them from standing on their own 2 feet. Is that right?
yeah, yeah, they would like it that way. Yeah.
Really?
So yeah, oh yeah. So people are scared of taking responsibility for their life, or
Yeah.
somebody's controlling them. They don't have to take responsibility for their life, do they? If you look at the governments and how they work,
Oh, but are
it's
you talking
like,
about physically or are you talking about an entity like attachment though?
oh yeah, an entity. Sorry, yeah, it
Yeah.
just yeah. If an entity is attached to you, it'll be attached to some type of trauma. Um, um,
Yeah, they come in through the deepest trauma that you've got and then they kind of feed off that, right? And then they might amplify it because they know like it's going to trigger more
yeah,
charge in you. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, back in the day, a long time ago, but I don't really see entities anymore. I just deal with the person. But yeah, it will be a trauma within you, and this is why all my work is trauma healing. I had to help
Mm,
people understand themselves because I noticed the reptilians they like to hide in the ego of the person because the ego is built, the mental ego is built on insecurity, maybe not feeling good enough,
yeah.
not feeling intelligent enough, not feeling masculine enough. And then the ego will project the opposite. Yeah. And then the reptilian hides in that ego, in that part, because they don't want to look at that. So they hide in the trauma where people don't want to look. The reptilians hide in the darkness in the brain where that
Because
That's
for me, trauma is not the same as ego. Ego is like the coping mechanism that is created after trauma to stop them feeling the trauma, right? That's my
yeah,
understanding of it.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
So they're
But it
hiding what in
is
the trauma or in the ego scaffolding around the trauma,
it's around it's all around it.
around
So
it. Okay.
they don't want to feel the they don't want to feel the trauma, and the trauma would be I don't feel masculine or something. I'm
Right.
demasculated, yeah. They don't feel good enough, they don't feel loved. And then the trauma will emphasize the opposite. I'm the most amazing man in the world. And they'll hide in between the ego and the trauma. So in between, because the person doesn't want to feel that emotion anyway, so they can hide in there. So they hide from the person hiding their own trauma. So they hide in
So
there.
they, when you're saying they, so I'm like not sure which one's the. So you're saying
I'm sorry.
these entities, they hide in the layer between someone's trauma and the ego kind of projection. Because
Yeah,
it's okay, right. And so
yeah,
the ego project. So let's say I feel like loads of abandonment and low self-worth, whatever. Then sometimes, not me, but I could have the potential to create an ego persona that I'm like, I'm the man, I'm like so,
yeah,
and that's a
yeah.
compensate. It's almost like a compensation for feeling
Feeling,
self-worth. That's what you maybe
yeah,
call narcissist, grandiose narcissist, or stuff like that. And so you're
yeah.
saying that these entities hide between the trauma and the actual ego projection,
Yeah, so
right?
yeah, so you've got the heart side where that
Yeah,
pain is.
yeah,
They wouldn't hide in there, and then you've got the mental side that copes with that pain, and
right.
they would hide behind that before the feelings come involved.
Wow, this is
Because
so
the
good. Yeah,
brain protects you from your emotions, yeah? So the mental side protects you from feeling like shit. So if you feel like awful and don't feel good enough, the brain will go, well, we don't want to feel that. I'm going to protect you from that. I mean, I'm going to protect you. And that's where they'll hide, in that protection. So you don't, you won't, your brain doesn't naturally, to go into trauma, to
yeah.
feel your trauma actually feels very unnatural, because your brain is designed to keep you away from trauma, to
Mm.
protect you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So they that's why they like trauma as well, because when the brain just doesn't want to feel it. It's not until you start
I
to
see.
understand.
I remember having like going through like a huge sort of feeling unloved, when I was a kid. And I
Yeah.
remember my coping mechanism was to go up into my head and like think it through, like, and come up with a reason why I'm worthy to be loved. And I intellectualized my mind at a very early age. And that's some in a good way in some respects, but I kind of lived in my head a lot of the time. And anytime there was like some kind of trauma, I went straight up into my head and I numbed out a little bit. Like, and over my adult life, it's about going from my head and dropping back down into the body. And it's almost like, oh my God, it's like opening a bin bag that's been left out for
Yeah.
years, and you're like, oh, it's so much feeling, but it's the feeling
Mm.
does the healing, not the mind.
Yes.
But we
Yes.
often think that we have to think our way out of like a trauma, but it's not. You have to go back into the
Feel.
feeling only, and only use the feeling to heal all the wounds from childhood. Basically,
Yeah.
that's the kind of the thing, isn't it? And I think what you're saying is that if you don't, if you still got that trauma and you're avoiding it, it's almost like it creates like Swiss cheese, like holes in your
Yes.
auric field that they can then come in at, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Exactly. Yeah.
Amazing. Well, not
Yeah.
amazing, but yeah, like good
Yeah.
knowledge. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, they're coming in. Yeah. Oh, it's so
Yeah. So
good.
it's all
Mm,
about the feelings, and we're here to. As a child, we look for
mm,
the validation and the love from our parents.
yeah.
And then as the healing comes in, it's going into self-love. It's
Inner
like we
validation,
love ourselves.
self-validation. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
self-validation, love for ourselves, and that we have to heal ourselves to do that, to bring more light in, to connect ourselves to our brain. So if people are looking outside for the validation, for the love, for all that, um, it it's not going to work. It will fall flat on your face, because the evolution is to fully love yourself. And this changes the brain waves. So when I see somebody who's like very religious, or just people, right? Their brain waves, their neurons go in the opposite. They're going outside of themselves. The neurons are going that way, right? I've got to get a job. I've got to get, if there's addictions in there, they're going outside of themselves. But actually, naturally, the brain should go towards the heart, to the left side of the brain, and get all the nutrients, all the life force for oneself. Reptilians go the opposite way, because they need to get their source outside of themselves, you see. So they changed our brains to work like theirs. Yeah, we've naturally, like, that's why religion come in. We knew we were we were the manifestors. We knew we were the
Yeah.
creators of our reality and everything like that. We didn't need anything. And we were self-sufficient. Mother Earth was self-sufficient. But in order to become slaves, they had to make us, the brain, go the opposite
They've
way.
pushed us into one hemisphere of the brain, haven't they? Is what they've
Yeah.
done. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know you say other way to the mainstream view, because left brain in mainstream view is like that mechanization, the kind of the cold, calculating, linear way of doing things, very transactional. But and then the right brain in mainstream view is all about interconnectedness, more connected to the heart, more about creation, co-creation. But actually, the way you say it is actually there's been a bait and switch. It's like you say the left is actually what we call the right in the mainstream, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
I don't know why. It's just the way I see it. And not although the
Yeah.
mainstream see it differently, I can't change it. But I look at people's brains every day.
Do
You
you?
know, it's
Can
like,
you actually look at someone and
yeah,
can you actually feel where they're coming from in their aura or something?
yeah. I look at my work is so people come to me mainly with they've got physical problems, and you know, if it's anything physical, emotional, they're just healing. They want to heal relationship issues, and they've manifested. On a Monday, every Monday, I see about 25 people, and they come in. I give them 10 minutes, and I just look, and I look at their brains, and they'll give me, okay, I've got knee pain, or I'm having a
Mm,
problem with this relationship, or this has happened, and I'll find out why they've created it, because one, they've created it. Why? Is it come from trauma? Is it come
mm,
from a lesson, because we create our lessons? Is it come from a perception, a belief? And I'll help them. I just tell them what I see, and through that they get to understand, and it balances them out. It helps them on their path.
wow.
So
So you can actually
yeah,
read their brain and then work out the almost like the wound, the core wound from childhood, and then what they have to
yeah.
do.
Yeah, yeah. So, I've been doing it for years now.
Amazing.
My healing groups are always booked out. It's hard to
Yeah.
get on there. Yeah, yeah. Um, so I always tell people just look around the end of the month and then get
Right.
on. And then I teach people how to do it as well.
Mm,
You know, because we all have the ability. Um, and what else do I do? And then I do remote views. So
yeah.
people ask me those questions, and I just go and remote view, and they're really fun and empowering.
Mm,
So yeah, I get to learn more. It's so much to learn. So
yeah.
much.
I
Yeah.
love it. That was one of the best chats about. I was just going to talk to you all day, Rebecca. It's so good.
Oh,
So
that's so
good.
nice.
It's
Oh, thank
amazing.
you.
Yeah, like just I knew I just thought we'd have like a freestyle because I knew we could just like follow the energy of the conversation in different directions. So I love it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm almost forgotten it's a podcast to be honest. Do you do you want to flash up your book and also do you want to mention like the healing group or like the website for that?
Yeah, so I've been doing it's on Patreon,
Yeah.
and it's called Find the Light.
Hmm.
So I've got Find the Light on Patreon, and then I've got my healing groups on there, and also the Q&As. So I've got years worth of Q&As, and you can come and just ask me a question,
Right.
and I'll remote view, and they're really good fun. And then oh God, I've got a Find the Light website. I'm on Facebook, on TikTok, Instagram. I've done all that. I don't know what I'm doing really,
I'll put
but
them in. I'll put the best ones, like the kind of the most important ones, in the YouTube description. You know, the ones that you want me to use, I'll put them in. So
oh, bless you.
please
Thank you.
check down below, kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah, bless.
Um. All right. Do you want to hold the book up one last time, just so,
Oh, bless
and I'll
you.
put a link for that as well. Okay.
Yeah, that's on my website. You can download it on my website. One set of footprints, and
Okay.
that's my journey on how I, understand these fuckers.
Focus.
More than that, but just yeah.
Brilliant. I love it.
Yeah.